Hi everybody, and welcome to, I think it's day 10 of the lockdown here in Spain. I'd like to take this opportunity to answer the big question that everybody's been asking me for the last half a year. And that is, why are you winging so much at the moment? Is it really that fun, or is it just because it's something new, or is Ozone paying you to say that it's cool? Well, here's the simple answer. It's super fun. I mean, it doesn't mean that I still don't like the kite foil. I still love that. But winging has brought me something that kiting has never really given me, and that is a sense of total freedom. Kite foiling specifically, you need fairly decent conditions and also a decent launch spot to get off. I mean, I'm a fairly good kite foiler. I can get out over a rocky beach and a reef with a kite and a kite foil. I can manage most conditions. I can get out in a howling onshore wind with 2 to 3 meter shore break. I can get out. It's not the problem. However, it's a pain in the ass most of the time. And also, for the last 3 years, I've been trying to make kite foil wave riding work. And it's always been the problem that the kites, no matter how good they drift with a surfboard, they don't really drift with a foil board if you're actually riding in the wave aggressively, which means that the foil is actually being driven by the wave and not by the kite. And at that point, the foil is actually way more efficient than the kite, and even a single strut kite will eventually go turtle, fall out of the sky, and then you have some minor problems, especially if you're in bigger swell. And if it's longer rides, it gets quite tiring. I was constantly trying to keep the kite in the sky. Also added to that, here on the island, we've got a bunch of really good wave spots. For example, Majanicho on the North Shore. That's an amazing wave riding spot. However, a lot of the time, the wind direction there is very onshore. It's not very good for wave riding. It's amazing to foil, but as soon as you put a kite or even a windsurf sail into that equation, it gets really difficult to manage, and you actually spend more time relaunching the kite or uphauling your sail, and that's just not fun. And also, you're concentrating while you're riding more on flying the kite or shifting your sail than actually riding. What I've always wanted was that feeling of riding the wave just with the foil and being able to forget about my method of propulsion, namely the kite or the windsurf sail. Essentially how I've been wave riding with the sup foil and the surf foils. So with winging, it gives you that. It gives you a method of propulsion to get out to the waves and get on the waves. But once you're on there, you can pretty much forget about it. You just hold it by the leading edge handle. It basically flags out. And actually, if you're going down a fairly big wave, even if the wind is onshore, the wing will flag out behind you just from your apparent wind. And this gives you a massive sense of freedom. It's also allowed me to start basically doing more downwinders. Before, the problem with any sort of subfoil downwinder is, you go out at one point, you start, you go, and then you go for 10, 20 kilometers downwind, and then what? The logistics is always you have to have somebody park your car down at your downwind spot where you're going to arrive, and then you go down there, you got to pack up, drive back upwind, and that's pretty much it. You do one go per day. You're not going to do it like over and over again because it's just logistically, it's a pain in the ass. With the wing, it allows you to basically go out and actually go out with a small board, especially when it's windy. I can go out for a flag, I can go upwind almost all the way to the harbor, catch one of those really big wind swells that we get in the summer, and ride that. I can ride that all the way down pretty much to the hotel if I want. And there, I can just basically kick out, go back upwind with the wing. It takes about 10 minutes. And then I'll catch another swell and ride that all the way down. My technique, essentially, for catching waves on the downwinders has improved a heck of a lot since I've had a wing, because it has allowed me to practice pumping and choosing waves and all the downwind stuff a lot more than I would have before. Because it's always been a discussion, oh, are we going to go for downwinder? Who's going to come? To do it alone is slightly risky, and then it's always cooler if you have somebody with a boat or a jet ski. So without the wing, it makes you really, really independent. So you have that aspect. So putting it all together, you have the sense of freedom. You can launch anywhere you want to go. I've been able to launch in spots which it's just never would have been possible. It's not possible to launch with a kite. The second thing is the sense of freedom on the water, that you can just shut off the wing. You can actually concentrate on surfing the wave or the swell. It allows you to surf waves that in wind directions that you would have never done before, like namely dead onshore wind. And the safety aspect. I would have never gone out, for example, in Biniasch or anywhere on the North Shore when it's been south wind here, which means like totally offshore, gusty, and horrible. Basically, with the kite, you always run the risk there because the current's also quite strong. If something goes wrong, you put your kite in the water, you won't be able to relaunch it, and then you have to swim back against the current, and that is actually quite dangerous, and in certain conditions, really dangerous. With the wing, you always have your method of propulsion. You have slightly bigger board, so it allows you to paddle back if in case something goes wrong. Funny enough, I've actually never had to do that in Biniasch yet. I've done it a few times at Flag Beach where I've been out and the wind is completely stopped. And then it's quite cool when you have a slightly bigger board, like a 80 to 100 liter sup. You just sit on it, and if there's a little bit of wind, like 2 or 3 knots, you just hold up the wing and you sort of displace back slowly. And if there's absolutely no wind, just let it go on its leash and lie on the board and paddle back, or kneel on the board and prone paddle back. It allows you a lot of options. In that sense, when you're wingfoiling, you tend to never have that sense of fear that's always in the back of your mind when you're kite surfing or windfoiling or anything like that, because in case something goes wrong, you're usually in trouble if you're far away from the beach. And it's always a big hassle getting everything back. And it takes a lot of energy, whereas with the wing, you actually never really think about it too much. You just go and do it, and then if something goes wrong, the wind goes away. You just, okay, screw it. Dump the wing, paddle back. I've even had accidents where I've accidentally deflated the wing on the water and pulled out the one pump and stupid stuff like that. And okay, you still have your big board, and then you just paddle back. It's not a big hassle. Whereas especially when I've been racing with the kite foils, if you've been out like 2 or 3 kilometers off the beach and the wind goes away and you're stuck there with a 21 meter or 15 meter foil kite and a small board, you're in a slightly big amount of trouble. It's gonna have to be rescued. Swimming that's virtually impossible. Winging in that respect, just safer. So let me just recap. Why do I love it? It's really fun. I can do it anywhere I really want to. I can do it in almost every conditions I want to. I can ride waves the way I want to. I can basically go out without fear of getting screwed up and not being able to make it back. And did I already mention that it's super fun? So I hope that clears up a few things. And thanks for listening. I hope I didn't bore you guys too much about the sport. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date. Thanks a lot for listening. See you on the water. Rock on.